just interrupting this episode to bring you news of an exciting new giveaway that we're running on Instagram. Click our Instagram link in the bio, and in the month of October, November and December, we're going to have separate giveaways. You won't want to miss this one. For the month of October, we're giving away a fantastic auto glim kit. Welcome to BamfordRose, and it's forum chat time. This week we've got a quick-fire roundup of a few snippets of forum chats that I've picked up from several places. Here's our first forum chat. Unfortunately, it appears to be a V12 Vantage which has spent some considerable time at dealer with a quirky electrical problem which has eluded them and not been able to get fixed in a timely fashion. Electrical problems will go one of two ways. One, you'll plug into the car and immediately the Aston Martin diagnostic system is going to tell you the fault code, tell you the component that's wrong, and that will enable someone to go off to the shelf, find a replacement component, fit it, reset fault codes, and the problem's fixed. The other way is where the diagnostic system fails to tell you what component is at fault, and unfortunately, as the car's age and the problems get more quirky, this scenario is ever too often, meaning that when you diagnose the system, ask the computer to read the car, then you are not told what component is at fault and not even given a hint of what could be wrong through fault codes. A good example of why this happens is, let's say, a fault that we'll use an example that we've seen here. There's been a door regulator, window regulator motor, and in the printed circuit board, it's had water ingress which has caused some form of shorting. That short has produced a signal which has been sent up the CAN communication network line to the body control module. Now, gone are the days where each module, each function on the car had its own harness, and now with clever CAN bus interaction interface systems, then many different signals at different frequencies and voltage are going up the same wire, as it were, to the body control module. And depending on how the body control module has been programmed to react, then depending on what frequency and what voltage and what signal it sees, it knows it's coming from a certain module. So in the case of the water ingress to the printed circuit board of the window regulator motor, that outputted a signal up to the body control module, which the body control module interpreted as the car doing its maximum velocity. It was a 4.3 V8 Vantage. Maximum velocity mathematically within the system is about 1600 miles per hour. And this particular problem was noticed because it was a convertible, and even when stationary, when pressing the convertible roof button, the car was displaying on the dashboard to reduce speed to operate roof. Obviously, when it was stationary, nothing could be done. So when the laptop went on the car, there are no faults with the roof. There's nothing in error with any roof module or any pump or micro switch or anything like that. There's just the signal on the dash that it thinks the car is moving, and that's inhibiting roof movement. There's no plausible signal going to the body control module to indicate that the car is actually moving and the car is stationary. So the body control module is receiving a signal in error. This is where the Aston Martin diagnostic system reaches the limit of its capability, because it's not going to diagnose a signal coming in error. It's not even going to suggest that a signal is going to the body control module from another module. And this is now going to be down to good old-fashioned fault finding and diagnostic process. This is where the independent network, aside from used car sales outlets and motorsport outlets, but this is where the good workshops of the independent world will totally outstrip a dealer, because that old-fashioned fault-finding methodology processes is second nature. Instead of the dealer network relying on plugging a computer in and computer informing what the fault codes are. Going back to the problem that I just outlined, There's two choices to fix that. One is going to be a sophisticated canalizer piece of kit, which you can interrogate the whole CAN bus network and figure out what signals are coming from where. Or disconnect every single electronic module on the car and one by one plug it back in until you encounter a quirk, a glitch, and then at least you're notified where to start looking for a problem on the car. As the cars age, quirky glitches like electronic problems, which AMDS will not even tell you what they are, will become more commonplace. And as a few people have suggested in the comments section of this particular post, it's time to leave the franchise network for this particular fault and get it to an independent. All a franchise dealer will do in this circumstance is burn diagnostic time, which inevitably must be paid for, whereas the independent will shortcut to a fault, diagnose it timely and fix it efficiently. Our next forum chat was taken off our own YouTube channel, one of our videos about a supercharger. Thanks, Martin, for this comment. Martin suggests that praise your own product and stop bashing others. Business rule number one, even for kids. Unfortunately, Martin, you've missed the point of this whole community on social media that BamfordRose is growing. BamfordRose, without doubt, is the most authoritative knowledge holder within the Aston Martin world. And here we seek to celebrate the good, and the good can be our products, it can be any products. We'll feature anything in the Aston world that is great. And we'll also discuss the not so good. This isn't just a soapbox to bang the drum of our own products. You may have heard the expression caveat emptor. It means buyer beware, or in more colloquial English, how to avoid being taken for a sucker. The aftermarket world is well known for selling products that increase induction noise and increased exhaust noise, but which don't actually improve the performance of your car. As examples of badly modified cars show up, we at BamfordRose will show them to you so you know what to avoid. We've seen all sorts, from race dampers not really suited to road cars, brake discs and pads that overheat, don't actually stop the car too well, lightweight flywheels made from cheap inconsistent billet that actually worsens the complete balance of the whole rotating assembly, manifolds said to improve the performance of the car, but internal diameters too small, gas flow worse than what it is on standard manifolds, and heat shielding removed, and spray on ceramic coatings which corrode off, actually melt and burn engine looms and cause drivability, error codes and MOT failures. So not only will someone waste their hard-earned cash if they have this stuff on their car, but they'll significantly reduce its value when you come to sell it. Watch these videos and we'll show you what you need to know, what you need to look out for, and avoid wasting time, money, and ruining the future of your car. Next forum chat is a snippet off Facebook. It's someone asking for Airbox delete kits for a V8. Is there anyone in the UK or anywhere really running GT4 style air filters, Airbox deletes? Any other options? Anyone got either? Well, best off asking the question first, why bother to fit a GT4 style airbox and not just take for granted that a motorsport style product is actually going to deliver anything tangible? Don't do it is the answer. Completely not needed. The air filter on your 380 or 420 horsepower V8 is the same air filter that's in a 600 horsepower GT12. Be a bit more scientific in the approach to understanding if something works by asking the question, what do you get? What are the improvements? The airbox system from the air pickup pipe to the throttle body, if it's restrictive, is going to have caused a depression in the inlet manifold. So when the throttle is wide open throttle, the inlet manifold will not be equal to atmospheric pressure. There will be a slight loss. On some road cars, that loss is major, and putting on a motorsport style airbox delete will return an improvement in power. On the V8 Vantage, the depression across the system, the losses of that induction system, is very minor. It's industry standard, meaning that if you took the air filter out completely, you will not really impact on that differential between atmospheric pressure and what's in the plenum chamber, not increase performance to any tangible amount, and do nothing other than increase induction system roar, which will give you the perception that your engine is producing more power. On the V8, it's also a bad idea because the trunking, which Siameses and takes airflow to both throttles from the single pickup, is smoothing the airflow signal out through the airbox through the mass airflow meter. If that is taken away and in place of the airbox a K&N type filter is fitted, it means each side is completely separate to each other, and this runs the risk of imbalances in airflow being detected as a fault code and putting the check engine light on or putting the car into a limp home. So I wouldn't be confident in fitting a GT4 style airbox. Forget that it delivers no power whatsoever. I wouldn't be comfortable fitting it without an ECU remap to set inactive that check between both banks in airflow. Final forum chat for today is someone asking if anyone with a post 2011 4.7 has had a primary decatalyst procedure done. So just go over the hardware. 4.3 and 4.7 V8 up to about mid 2010 had a manifold, exhaust manifold with no catalysts present, and then downstream underfloor was a single catalyst can, but within it were two catalysts. That was for EU4 standard emission. The 2011 onwards 4.7 for EU5 emissions had to have a starter catalyst, a primary catalyst in the exhaust manifold, and a secondary catalyst further downstream. So on the early cars, you could replace that big twin-piece catalyst for a high-flow 200 cell cap, and for little money with an ECU remap, get quite an increase in performance and quite an increase in noise. If you wanted to fit manifolds and catalysts, obviously that's the next step up, next level performance increase on from that. But if you just wanted to do that stage 1 high flow catalyst upgrade, that will return good results. With the 2011 onwards cars that have a primary catalyst and a secondary catalyst, it really isn't worth your while doing a secondary catalyst delete, because A, that's only ever going to give a slight noise increase, and B, it's going to give very, very little tangible performance increase. And this is because primary catalyst is still present. Now, to produce power, an engine needs correctly designed, optimized length primary pipes in the exhaust manifold. And when a catalyst is put in the exhaust manifold, it interrupts that dimension and the tuning effect is lost, and that catalyst is causing a decrease in potential engine performance. So the exhaust manifolds that we fit, we upgrade to, obviously it has no primary catalyst in the manifold and has optimized primary pipe lengths. Then we fit a high flow secondary cap in place of the standard factory cap. Obviously that kit is quite an investment, and if someone didn't want to make that investment in the car, then for a little bit less power increase, what we can do is remove the primary catalyst from the exhaust manifold, re-weld it back up, it's just an empty can, it's got no catalyst in, and then either keep the existing secondary cap or fit a 200 cell cap. So it is correct to say that in this model year car, a primary decat is much better than a secondary decat in terms of noise and power increase that you would get. It then goes on to say that you would obviously have to move the lambda bosses to the secondary cats. This is because the pre-catalyst lambda sensor and post-catalyst lambda sensor is measuring the conversion efficiency of the primary catalyst. If the primary catalyst was removed, the pre and post sensors would record the same, i.e. no gas conversion going on, and that would ping an error light on the dashboard, P420, P430, to indicate that catalyst efficiency is poor. So what this poster says doing is to move those sensors so they monitor the secondary cat, which isn't monitored at all, and the conversion on that secondary cat would then not detect any error lights on the dashboard. Well, this is okay to do, but the proper thing to do would be a correct ECU remap. Correct because you turn off all of those diagnostics which would ping error lights on the dashboard, but also the fueling is unnecessarily over enriched to keep the primary catalyst cool. So if you've removed the primary catalyst, you can lean the mixture to get more power. You can put some spark on as well and really make worthwhile electronically to give more power the mechanical upgrade you've done, removing the catalyst to give more power. So there you have it. Either fit manifolds and catalysts or do a primary decap with a high flow secondary but remap the ECU. Hope you like this forum chat. And as always, if you can like, comment and subscribe, it really helps us. We'll see you on the next forum chat.